Say hello to the mom. She's literally the sweetest thing. Hello to kitten number 3. My beautiful souls, welcome into a daily read for Wednesday. I hope you liked the additional cat content. They were simply going crazy. They were kind of stressing me out. But we're going to begin and get one of these Souls Journey Oracle cards and then see where the reading takes us. To begin for Wednesday. What do we have for Wednesday? Thank you, Spirit. Okay, the failure card coming out. That's very past oriented. And the day does highlight happiness that's needed, wanted, desired, and maybe even for the majority of which drawn to the reading, being experienced, being felt throughout this day. But they're saying the whirlwind of your mind is taking a highlight, whether it's because of your spirituality, like myself, it could be because you're an overthinker, someone who just thinks a lot. But I wouldn't be surprised if the way you're processing things feels very much as if it needs to or just simply is taking a focus. They're saying look up the spiritual meaning of a dolphin. A dolphin. But your energy is quite fantastic is what I'm getting. There's a brightness about you throughout this day. There's a desire to experience more or just in general. There's a desire within this collective energy to get things done and to feel accomplished, after the fact, even in the midst of which. But they're saying once again, there's a focus on past failure. And maybe it wasn't actually a failure that's going to be highlighted in your mind, your awareness, maybe a dream or two, but really you felt it was a failure, okay? And I feel as if Spirit's saying, what did you gain from that, right? And how are you able to utilize that with what's at hand? And I feel this will also be utilized when it comes to future experiences, situations, and accomplishments. But I'm going to put that back in the deck, okay, because when that comes to be a focus, utilize it to your advantage. Don't overdo it in that process. Let's move on. Empathy may be a part of this day as well, but let's pull one of these Prism Oracles or two. What else do we have for Wednesday? Yeah, I mean, this is a very colorful deck, and they're highlighting the side of the box for this specific Oracle deck and how it has a rainbow basically along the entire side of which. And they're saying there's a simple focus upon the colorfulness that you deserve to be experiencing, to be one with, within and outside of you at this point along your path. But look at this. Going back to the card that we put, back in the deck, the failure card, there is reflection taking place. Interesting. I both saw this imagery as two microphones kind of reflecting each other, giving a mirroring image, if you will. But then when you turn it on the side, right, to the side, excuse me, I wouldn't be surprised if, as in being shown this as eyes or binoculars, something of the sort, there's a focus on you being watched, all right, very closely. People, maybe a select few wanting you to mess up, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a huge highlighting of those of which rooting for you, maybe benefiting from what you are doing, what you're putting out there into the universe. For me, obviously, it's going to be partially because I'm putting myself out there on YouTube. But for you, it could be something completely different. Something that you're going to watch in whatnot will definitely bring you happiness. It really reminds me of sometimes I'm guided to TikTok because some of the stuff that people post on there, it's like people are wild. People are just ridiculous. And really also creative all the meanwhile. And it just makes me laugh because you never know what to expect when you hop onto that app. But let's move on to some tarot. Sorry, as the Spirit is definitely making me feel off right now, and I really do not appreciate it. But to continue for Wednesday, we're moving on to the Seven of Cups, as well as the Nine of Pentacles. I feel as if there's an independence about you throughout this day. There's a conquering kind of energy. Once again, the desire, the motivation coming to be and even increasing throughout the day as it trickles forward to accomplish, to feel accomplished, to fulfill in certain ways. And I wouldn't be surprised if we look at the rose at this in the center of the Seven of Cups imagery. They're saying you are blossoming. All right, something else is blossoming because you are, because you're applying yourself towards it, because you're simply putting in and have been putting in effort. They're saying it's crazy how that works. You know, you put in the effort and therefore that effort pays off. Even if it's not immediate, but it feels there is immediate payoff throughout this day. Now, the Eight of Pentacles, because you're putting in the hard work, you're feeling like doing so. It's just this collective that feels very much motivated to put in consistency, consistent effort towards greatness, all right? However that greatness is meant to look and be experienced for you. I know for me, it's going to be at least partially due for this business, right? Because I wish to see this go the distance, and I know intuitively and spiritually that it's going to. But for you, it naturally could be something completely different. The Nine of Swords in reverse. There's something about this day not being stressful, okay? You're not meant to be a stress basket, at least at this point along your path. I feel as if part of the reflecting taking place throughout this day is going to give you I'm hearing contrast, the comparison of this chapter, this part of your path, your timeline, the comparison of which to certain stressful times, you know, in your past. And they're saying you dealt with things incorrectly in a more stressful manner. You allowed for things to get the best of you at certain points. And nobody's perfect. You were younger, you were less experienced, and you were less mature, period. And so therefore, throughout this day, when things are accomplished in a more peaceful manner, in a more independent and flowing kind of way, give yourself the credit that you deserve, okay? It feels like for some drawn to the reading, there may be a factor or two throughout this day that you could naturally turn this in the upright and stress about, right? Or allow for it to affect you in that manner, but you simply don't let it get the best of you, and you utilize a strategy or two, an experience or two from the past even potentially, and what you are made out of to overcome that obstacle, to not let it get the best of you, and maybe even realign your focus in the moment to just say, that isn't going to get the best of me once again. It's not going to affect me. But it does feel like you're going to need to remind yourself why something is so important to continue. Even for a lot, I would describe that situation, that commitment of yours, as temporary, right? Even if it's meant to last for a while longer moving forward, it's still going to have an end point after, you know, that certain divine timing. But it does feel like you're needing to remember, and you may not be wrapped up with that situation throughout this day, whatever kind of situation ends up being for you, but Spirit's saying it needs to continue for a certain amount of time moving forward. But for some, it may go the distance, and you may not be aware of that, at least not yet. Anyways, that was quite random, but they're saying as well, you're pretty much embodying this Queen of Pentacles energy, in touch with your feminine side, having a little bit of fun here and there, quite peaceful and grounded. And if something does happen to alter that way of being, at least the grounded aspect of which, then do what you know best in order to reground yourself. I shouldn't have to remind you of that, but maybe it's important that you hear that before you begin this day, or in the middle of it before that takes place, okay? There's a sense of you gaining abundance throughout this day, and Spirit saying that's not just going to be one form, all right? I wouldn't be surprised if quality visualization is taking place. Interesting. So you may get an image, a vision from Spirit. Anybody who's been dealing with negative or toying kind of dreams, feeling like a spirit just wants to mess you up a little bit in your head, or make you overthink, make you question, fear the worst, discard it, okay? It's not going to change the positives that are meant to exist throughout this day, and more so moving forward, all right? The rewards will be present. It's another day like that. It may be different results, rewards in comparison to the last daily read for Tuesday. You know, go over and watch that if you haven't already. But for some, I do feel there's at least one or two forms of abundance that you're also continuing to receive even more of which throughout this day. All right. But let's think back to certain financial gains from the past and when you saw that leave your life quite quickly. And I don't feel this was due to um, your obligations like bills and whatnot, but I feel you chose to invest in where you're living or your car or something in your life that where you maybe could have tightened up and held back at least partially if not fully, but you allowed for that financial gain to be put out or to leave your life quite quickly, right? And they're saying, why is it that you feel a lot less of that's going to happen moving forward? Because your connection, to your finances is changing at this time. This is a very interesting and random reading, but they're saying it's going to be a happy day. All right, don't overdo it in the reflection process. Once again, allow for yourself in a non-stressful way to get things done and to receive the abundance that you truly deserve. Okay, so this was truly helpful. Sending you so much love and light.